Well, thanks for everyone for joining us today. I do appreciate it. We are Eco El Paso, and we are joining you this week as a part of a speaker series for National Drive Electric Week 2020. So, National Drive Electric Week is a national nonprofit that works with other local nonprofits across the country. And essentially, the idea is to promote and celebrate and educate on electric vehicles, on the ease of purchase, their affordability, what it's like to drive them, own them, use them day to day, the costs, which of course everyone asks about the price. And so, really, as part of Eco El Paso, we are promoting sustainability, right? So we're in the desert, the hot, arid climate. It can be very hot. It could also get very cold and snow. And so we really just wanted to promote, local users that have purchased EVs that know really the day to day and all the ins and outs of them. So what I've done is I've asked a friend today, Nick Vaughn, to join us. So thank you, Nick. I'll let you do an intro and sort of take it away and tell us a little bit more about, your experience with electric vehicles.
Yeah, so my name is Nick Vaughn. I'm from El Paso originally. Probably like a lot of people that got interested into electric vehicles, they probably started back at the beginning of the decade when Tesla was first starting to kind of hype up mass production EVs with the Model S, and they had the Roadster before that, but it was kind of a niche like sports car. But, to be honest, at the time, even in 2013, a brand new Model S was knocking on six figures. And so it was kind of out of reach for um, just about anyone except for, the top tier. But as time has gone on, obviously, there's a pretty fleshed out used market for electric vehicles now. So about a year ago, I bought a used Model S. It was a 2013 P85 model. And then about 6 months after that, my wife bought a 2018 Model X. And so, since then, we've just been really enjoying the kind of electric lifestyle. Obviously, buying an EV, you kind of do a lot of research about what kind of charging it needs. If you want to go on a road trip, there's a lot of resources and information for that. But a lot of the unknowns when electric vehicles first started coming out, like how long will the battery last and all of those things, are pretty well established now. So it's not like it was, I don't know, I don't feel like it was a risk diving in.
Yeah, it seems like everyone wants to talk about price, and then you start
Uh,
to me about the $35,000 EV.
mhm.
We heard Tesla announce that in the next, 3 or 4 years, they want to get down to a $25,000 model. But what really impressed me is that, you can go on to all the used car sites now, and they never used to have used Teslas, and now
Mm,
you can find Tesla,
tons of them.
Toyotas, whether it's an EV or a hybrid, you can find just about everything, which is really nice.
Yeah, and I mean the thing, like with any car like that's knocking on six figures, you're just gonna get killed in depreciation if you buy it brand new. I mean, my wife's Model X when it was brand new was probably like $125,000, and you can still option them up almost that high brand new today. And we bought it for under $60,000. So I mean, just in 2.5 years since the car was built, you know, it's already
It's amazing.
lost about 50% of its depreciation. But then once it hits about that 50% mark, the depreciation is super slow. I bought my Model S a year ago for a shade under $40,000, and the exact same car with even more mileage you can buy like on Vroom or Carvana for, it's still right around $40,000. So once they hit this point, the depreciation is less and less and less, and you're still kind of hard pressed to find a Model S that's under $30,000, even with the smallest batteries. So like any car, the first 2 to 3 years, that's where you eat most of the depreciation. And then after that, it's just a very slow decline.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny, you can find the $80,000 S for, 30 to 45,000 just
Yeah.
about any day of the week,
Yeah.
with an abundance of colors and
Mm-hmm.
options. And I was shocked because, I know Nick personally outside of Eco Paso, and asked him to join us last year, and he had just purchased, it's a gray Model S.
Mhm.
How old is it? 5, 6 years old?
Oh, it's a 2013, so it
13.
was one
Okay.
of the first ones that Tesla made. The 2012 was their first intro year, but it was like late 2012, so it's
Yeah.
pretty much the first ones they made.
And your battery, what was like the sticker mileage on it when it was brand new?
So brand new, it was rated at 265 miles,
Okay.
and today it gets about 255 to 256 miles. So it's
Wow.
lost really about 3% of its battery, and that's after
700.
70,000 miles.
Wow, that is insane.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, it's better than what it's expected to lose. So I've been really thrilled with it so far.
Wow. And you probably have to be smart with your battery. It can't be like a cell phone. You're plugging it in every single day and overnight. And I'm sure there's some like regulatory things inside of the
Yeah.
software to keep it.
So, so one of the most important things they tell you is, unless you're going to go on a super long road trip, usually you're not supposed to charge it to 100%. They usually recommend 80, or now they recommend 90%. But typically, I will set the limit on the charge to 80%, and that's still, over 200 miles of range, and that's more than enough for my day to day. And my commute is to Las Cruces and back every single day, and I mean,
Wow.
I still have over half the battery, when I get home. You can charge it there. I'm fortunate that my work has like level 2 chargers for electric vehicles, and so I actually charge it at work and then don't charge it when I come home. So I kind of
Oh,
get
wow.
the double dip on the free energy. So
Oh, wow. Yeah. No gas and,
yeah.
no
So
electricity.
usually I
Wow.
hardly ever have to charge my car. We charge my wife's car at home, but
Nice.
hardly ever, yeah, my car.
Yeah, that right there is a huge benefit that
Hmm.
big and small companies could promote, or even at a hospital, like you work at a hospital, and
Hmm.
it'd be really
Yeah.
nice if I could pull up and park in the front row and get
Uh,
deferred parking and get free charging.
for
Uh,
sure.
that's
Yeah.
really nice.
I mean, I think a lot of people don't realize too, like the biggest thing I noticed when I got an electric vehicle was just how often we go to a gas station.
Yeah,
I'm sure now because of coronavirus, people probably aren't driving around as much as they used to, but like, I mean, just the not having to ever go to a gas station again is like one of the best benefits ever. I love that feeling that, every time I want to fully charge my car, I can do it from the comfort of my own home.
nice. Yeah, that's really nice. And on our website, Frico Paso, we did create a site dedicated to it. It's completely goes over the details of electric vehicles. There's lots of links, so if you want to research some of this, you can.
Hmm.
Performance. Now, I think once you get past the money, everyone then says, "What's it like to drive?" And from my experience, it's like lightning right out of the gate because it's like all.
Hmm. Yeah, and I mean, it doesn't even matter if you have like a Nissan Leaf, you're still gonna feel that kind of like instant torque that you get. Obviously, Teslas kind of pride themselves on the performance aspect of their vehicles, and if you go to their website, every single one of them will tell you the 0 to 60 time, like just right off the bat. But yeah, if you've ever driven an electric golf cart, when you press on the gas, even that gives you kind of a little jolt back because
Yeah,
you get
exactly.
100% of the car's torque right away. As opposed to a gas car, usually you're getting the max torque at 2 to 3,000 RPM. So the car's already had to kind of fire up for a little bit. With an electric vehicle, it's immediate. So even if you were to buy the base bare bones Model 3 Tesla for $35,000, you're still going to have a car that probably is faster and has more torque than any sports cars most people have.
That's
It's kind
nice.
of, yeah, it's fun to drive. I mean, I think that's why
Yeah.
people like it, is you get this kind of convenience of having an electric vehicle in terms of your day to day, but then you have a car that's just like super fun to drive also.
Yeah, and what's it like when it comes to the noise level when you're driving, especially if you're going to Las Cruces every day, you're on 10, and you're driving next to semis and big electric vehicle, or giant SUVs and Suburbans and trucks.
It's not super bad just
What-
because the Model S is kind of a higher end car. They do a pretty good job of noise reduction. Um, and I think it probably just gets better as the technology advances, just because you got to remember there's not even a gas motor running. That is like a
yeah,
huge chunk of noise for most cars. In this case, you have maybe the whine of a little motor, that's the electric motor, but you can hardly hear that. And so
nice,
um, once you're hitting like 80 miles an hour or so, you can kind of get a little bit more wind noise, but it's not actually that much different from any other car you would drive.
nice.
Um, I think the first car to like really make an effort into like wind reduction and noise is the Porsche Taycan. That's like their new electric vehicle, and the reviews for that are like even going 140 miles an hour. You have no idea that you're going that fast or what the noise is like. So,
Yeah.
but it's not.
So if you want to spend 150 grand, you can.
Exactly. Yeah, you can buy a supercar EV, and that will reduce your wind noise.
But for 98% of most of us who can't afford that, it sounds like, gosh, you'll even start to see the Model 3s even start to be used on the market in large
Yeah,
numbers.
no,
I'm
and I mean,
starting to see it, but it's only going to.
And even the used Model 3s are almost like exactly what they retail for. It's kind of crazy. Like the Model 3 market to me is nuts because you could usually spend a couple $1,000s more and buy one brand new.
Yeah.
They might not have the full self-driving, so you might save money on that, but a lot of times they don't tell you what the car comes equipped with. But like just bang for your buck electric vehicle, there's like nothing that beats a Model 3. And when I bought my car, that was kind of the debate. Do I want the Model 3 or do I want the S? And for me, it was like purely an aesthetic choice. I just think the Model S is like actually a beautiful car. Not to anything negative about the Model 3. It's just, I like the style of the S a little bit more.
Yeah, the lines on it are a lot nicer.
Definitely.
I think you don't realize it. You like the 3, and then an S pulls up, and you're like, ooh. It's a little sports party.
The 3 just makes more sense. It's got better, more updated technology. It charges faster. It has all these other things that on paper it makes it, a much more reasonable purchase. But, like with any car purchase, no matter what kind of car you buy, there's a little bit of emotion that goes into it. You just kind of want it.
Yeah, and it seems like, people buy for cars for 5 or 10 years. Would you say an EV is closer to like a 15, 20-year buy? If you want it to be?
It definitely can be. There's a lot of data now that they're having these, super long-range Model S vehicles that have been on the road for, sometimes near 300,000-400,000 miles.
Oh, wow.
And they still have, 90% of their battery left to them, which is crazy,
Yeah.
And they've lab tested them that they'll still have over 80% of their battery after 500,000 miles. And I mean, let's be honest, like, who has a car ever for 500,000 miles? Like, that just does not happen. It's rare enough for someone to keep a vehicle for 100,000 miles now, let alone, that long.
Yeah.
So, the staying power is there, and they don't need maintenance. You're not having to get oil changes. You're not having to, get a ton of stuff. Really, it's just tire rotations and switching out your tires are really the only things we've ever had to deal with these cars.
Wow. Yeah. So minus the gas. So it seems like the one thing I always talk about is it's not the price and the monthly payment you make on your car. It's the total cost of ownership. It's like a house, right? You don't want to buy an inefficient house where you have huge electric bills, right? Maybe you spend a little more on a house that doesn't have the higher bills and it offsets it. I think it's kind of the same mentality, right?
Sure. Yeah, there's tons of comparisons now between like the Model 3 and a Toyota Camry. And the Camry might be a few $1,000s less, on the sticker price, but after the 5-year total cost of ownership, the Model 3 just blows it away because they just don't need that much work done. And then, if something does break, locally Tesla has a mobile repair service where you can just go onto your app on your phone.
Oh,
and
wow.
they'll show up at your house and fix it for you. You're not having to spend your day going to some mechanic down the road that's going to, Mickey Mouse you on all this stuff that you need fixed. It's just like look at it and fix it. It's super awesome. But I mean, just EVs in general, whether it's like a Leaf or the Porsche or Audi now makes an SUV and VW's making one. They just don't need that much maintenance done to them. There's not as many moving parts. It's not like an engine with 500 separate pieces in there that a lot can go wrong.
Yeah, and it seems like everyone who gets a car that's not upgraded always starts upgrading everything. Would you say you have less of an itch to, customize? I know you can always customize a Tesla, but would you say more of that customization is built into the baseline models that you're buying?
Yeah. I mean, and really the only thing you can customize in these is probably just like the body stuff. You can change the tires, wheels, stuff like that.
Yeah.
You can kind of tune the suspension a little bit if you really wanted to, but there's not a whole lot of that like in the aftermarket. Most of the times you see people customize their cars, they either put a wrap on it or they take the chrome out. It's called a chrome delete.
Yeah.
That's the most common thing you see, at least for like the Tesla market.
Yeah.
But they're already there. And then you get over the air updates all the time. So, I mean, just this week they announced that because it's getting colder, Tesla's sending an update to all Model 3 and Model Ys that will automatically heat your charging port for you in case it gets frozen.
Oh, wow.
I mean, and that's after you bought
nice.
the car. Like if you've had the car for 3 years, they're going to give you that as an upgrade to your car that it did not have the day you walked out of the dealership or you bought the car. So even though your car is old, my 2013 Model S is still getting over-the-air updates, to its software. I get convenience features added to my car all the time, and no other car does that. There's no other company that just pushes over-the-air software updates that improves your experience as a driver. It's kind of amazing.
Yeah, I think you nailed it on the head. Experience, it goes from something you just drive to work and back or run errands in to, an experiential item, right, that you get to go play with every day.
Sure. And I mean, and it's still that. I mean, and these cars have lots of space in them, and it's still like, your daily commuter. It does everything you want. But, Tesla's very responsive. If there's like an issue, they address it right away. It's been a great ownership experience. I actually still have a gas vehicle. It's like a little Fiat Roadster.
Oh,
it
nice.
has 8,000 miles on it, and it's spent the last 3 months in the shop. Just because it's just always something wrong with it. And, same thing, I drive it to and from cruises, mostly freeway driving, and I had to replace the clutch at 6,000 miles just of light freeway driving. Whereas, my Tesla with 70,000 miles on it has literally just needed a fresh change of tires. That is the only thing that's had to happen to it,
Wow.
And ownership. And that was my choice. I didn't really even need to upgrade the tires quite yet. I just wanted to.
Yeah. Wow. That's nice. Yeah. I've been researching them, and ever since you came to our show last year, and
sure.
I didn't think we had one of the Audi SUVs come towards the end of the.
We did, yeah. One of the guys brought one, and it's a beautiful car too. I mean, I think there's a lot of this like, oh, well, Tesla has all this and this, and I mean, to a certain extent, it makes sense that a car company that his only job is to make electric vehicles is going to have a better focus and better customer experience for it. But the Audi e-tron is a great car. Obviously, if you can afford the Porsche, it's one of the best reviewed cars on the road right now. It's just just to get a butt naked model is going to cost you $105,000. So
that's never for me.
Yeah, it's just not practical. But I mean, I don't think anyone that ever bought a Porsche thought they were being practical about it.
Yeah, and I've even seen used Chevy Volts down for as low as like 10, 15 grand. So
yeah, I mean,
you can cover the whole gamut of very low price point to very high end.
And that's a great car now too, because if you can get one that's lightly used, it'll still have over a 200-mile range. And again, more than anyone needs for their day to day. And I think the big thing most people are asking about now is, what's the range like when you're traveling out of town? I recently just took a trip to Phoenix this past weekend. Most of the charging stations are in public areas where, it's near a restaurant or something. People come up all the time and ask questions about like, oh, how long does it take you to charge? How long, how much range do you have to get here and there? And even if you don't own a Tesla, there's a company called Electrify America that is like a subsidiary of VW, and they have charging stations all over the country now too. So you can pretty much go wherever you want in an electric car, no matter what brand you buy, whether it's a Tesla or, a little VW or the Volt or whatever.
Yeah.
It's easy.
That's nice. Yeah, I think that's what everyone was waiting for is, price, mileage, performance, which it seems like.
And I mean, the charging only gets faster. My old Model S doesn't charge as fast as my wife's Model X does. And then if you have a Model 3 or a Model Y, the charging time is even like half of that. And so it just gets faster. And then if you have a newer car on the Electrify America network, you can get a full charge in 15 minutes basically, and you're ready to go hit the next stop. It's super fast. It's just like stopping and getting some gas at this point now.
Well, cool. Well, Eco El Paso, we did create the Rio Grande Electric Auto Association as a part of the as a part of our nonprofit, and we're underneath the umbrella, underneath the National, Electric Auto Association. So we're really here just to educate, have get-togethers, have, monthly meetups where all the cars can get together, and anyone who wants to learn from local owners. I think it's really nice to hear from a local versus going to a possible car dealer where all they want to do is sell you. whereas
Mhm.
all you want to do is just kind of come hang out with some people that have cool cars and learn about them. And I think that's what we want to do really, is just educate, spread the message, and make people realize, that you can get high performance, low cost point to entry into the market to buy one, used and new options, which I don't think people think too much about the used side of market. So it's really good that, you have an entire experience in that.
Yeah.
And then, we are a local nonprofit. We're an all volunteer association. We have a membership program that you can join. We do work with the National Association for National Drive Electric Week. So we're going to have back to our regular, on-site festival next year, and we'll have a stage and music and vendors, and hopefully, 50 to 100, electric vehicles will show up. But I just wanted to say thank you to Nick. Appreciate your time. I know you're busy. And just wanted to thank you all for joining us. We will post this on our website. Eco El Paso will continue to share this type of educational materials. And if you have questions, email us, Facebook us, and we'll stay in touch.
Awesome.
Cool. Thanks, everybody. Have a great week.
Thank you.